Hello all, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. Today I'll talk about our speaking test. Speaking test is a very important test, you know that, because you can get a very good score in speaking test, which is not possible for the other tests. Right? Many people say that you can get a very good score in speaking test, but what I feel that it's easier to get 6 to 6.5 in speaking test, but getting 7 or 7.5 or 8 is highly difficult in speaking. Anyway, what do you know about speaking test? We know that our speaking test consists of 3 parts. And in the first part, the examiner will ask you some common personal questions about your life, about your family, about your education, your childhood, and all this stuff. And in the second part, examiner will provide you with a cue card, and you have to describe the cue card within 1 minute or 2 minutes. You have to speak for 1 minute. This is obligatory, but what we say that you should try to expand or extend our speaking for 2 minutes. Right. So in the third part, what you have to do, would be asked some questions which would be related to the cue card. So third part is called follow-up questions of the cue card, and third part is also known as two-way discussion. Alright, so these are the 3 parts of our speaking test. Now, what we need to have if you want to get a good score in our speaking test? What qualities should you possess if you want to get a good score in our speaking test? What we know is that there are 5 things that you should possess if you want to get a good score in our speaking test. So what are those 5 things? If you want to get a good score. First thing is called fluency. First of all, you have to be fluent when you talk about various topics of IELTS, when you answer your questions, right? The examiner will ask you a lot of questions, and you have to be fluent while answering those questions, right? If you are not fluent, if you take a lot of time to give your answers, unfortunately, it will be highly difficult for you to get a good score. In fact, the examiners will not give you a good score if you are not fluent. So remember that you have to be fluent. Fluency thakti hobe. It is a must. It is the must thing for you. Right. After fluency, another important aspect is relevancy. You must be relevant. In Bangla, আমরা যেটা বলি সেটা হচ্ছে প্রাসঙ্গিকতা। মানে আপনাকে যে কোশ্চেনটা করা হয়েছে, আপনি সেই কোশ্চেনটার উত্তর করতেছেন। Right. When you are asked about your hometown, you are describing your hometown, nothing else. So this is called relevancy. The answer to the question should be relevant. If you are not relevant, you might be a very good speaker, but if you are not relevant, unfortunately again, your score will be very low and you wouldn't get your desired score. So after your fluency and relevancy, another important aspect is grammatical accuracy. If you speak a lot, but if you are not grammatically accurate, if you commit a lot of grammatical mistakes, and if you do not know how to use proper grammar, it is very unlikely that you will get a good score. A person with a lot of grammatical errors, a lot of grammatical mistakes would never ever get a good score in an IELTS speaking test. Though many people would tell you that speaking is not related to grammar, but they're wrong. You have to be grammatically accurate when you want to get a pretty high score in an IELTS test. Right. So after these 3 main aspects of speaking, like as I told you, first of all, fluency, secondly, relevancy, and finally, thirdly, grammatical accuracy. And apart from these 3 things, there are a couple of other things that you should be careful of. And these are, you should use variations of sentence structures. You should show the examiner that you have a vast knowledge of English language in terms of your vocabulary, idioms, phrases, and different kinds of sentence structures, right? If you use very common words while answering your questions, if you give very simple answers, if you do not have, if the examiner can't determine whether you have high range of vocabulary or not, the examiner will not give you a good score. So you have to show the richness of your vocabulary. You have to show the examiner how much you know about English language by expressing your ideas in different ways. This is very important as well if you want to get a good score in our speaking. So this is related to expressions and vocabulary. In other words, some people say this is called lexical resource. How much knowledge do you have about language? I mean, sentence structure, vocabulary, expressions. So you need to have strong lexical resource if you want to get a good score, right? And finally, what is very important is your pronunciation. Yeah, it's very important actually. I mean, so what is this pronunciation thing? Right? I mean, how many people in our country can tell us that they are, good at British pronunciation or American pronunciation? And it's very difficult to acquire a good pronunciation skill. So what matters here is that not what pronunciation do you follow. You might try to use British pronunciation or American pronunciation, but it's very difficult to acquire this pronunciation, as I told you earlier. So here the important thing is that whatever sound you will produce in speaking test, that sound should be clear to understand, right? That's the pronunciation, that's your accent. So instead of going after British pronunciation or American pronunciation, what you should try is that you should bring clarity in our words so that we can be easily understood by the examiner, right? So মূল কথা হচ্ছে কথাটা স্পষ্ট হতে হবে। আপনি whatever sound you produce, it should be clear to understand, right? All right. So finally, if I sum it up, there are 5 things that you should have in your speaking test. 5টা জিনিস থাকতে হবে। Number 1, you should be fluent or fluency থাকতে হবে। Secondly, you should be relevant বা relevancy থাকতে হবে। Thirdly, you should be grammatically accurate or grammatical accuracy থাকতে হবে আপনার কথার মধ্যে। And আপনার একটা বিভিন্ন রকম sentence structure, vocabulary এগুলো ইউজ করা ট্রাই করতে হবে। And finally, you should be clear in your speech. আপনার কথার clarity থাকতে হবে যাতে সহজে আপনার কথা বোঝা যায়। So these are the 5 things that you should have in your speaking if you want to get a good score in our speaking test. That's it. Thank you so much.